The Grand Assembly Hall of the Sovereign Collective stretched across 17 kilometers of polished obsidian floor, and right now every single one of those kilometers was filled with the most powerful beings in the known galaxy. Chancellor of Rickstyle stood at the central podium, his four mandibles clicking with barely contained rage, his ceremonial robes shimmering with the key colors of impending warfare. And the human was lighting a cigarette.
Did you hear what I said?
Fertel's translator implants struggled to convey the proper amount of indignation. His species, the Cortex, had conquered 47 star systems through sheer military might and strategic brilliance. They did not appreciate being ignored. Ambassador Marcus Webb exhaled a thin stream of smoke, squinting through it at the towering alien figure before him. He was short by human standards, maybe 5'7", with graying hair that looked like it hadn't seen a comb in 3 days. His suit was wrinkled, one of his shoes was untied. He looked like someone who had just woken up from a nap in his car. "Yeah, I heard you," Marcus said, flicking ash onto the pristine obsidian floor. "You're declaring war. Very dramatic. Loved the light show you guys did with the holograms. The exploding planets were a nice touch." Fertel's primary eyes bulged, his secondary eyes narrowed. His tertiary eyes, the ones usually reserved for rereading emotional subtext, simply closed in what might have been the alien equivalent of a headache. "This is not theater, human. This is an official declaration of hostilities between the Sovereign Collective and his species. We have mobilized the 5th, 7th, and 9th battle fleets, over 4,000 warships, each one capable of glassing an entire continent. We have given you term. Surrender your outer colonies, submit to collective authority, and provide tribute of 1 trillion credits annually." He paused for effect. "Or face extinction." Marcus took another drag. "And what's behind door number 3? "There is no door number 3. "Shame. I always liked game shows." And the observation gallery above, species from across the known galaxy watched in various states of shock, horror, and what might have been second-hand embarrassment. The Pixeye delegation, delicate moth-like beings with compound eyes, fluttered nervous. The Grom, massive silicon-based life forms who communicated through seismic vibrations, had stopped rumbling entirely. Even the UCall ambassador, whose species was notorious for finding humor in planetary disasters, seemed uncertain whether to laugh or flee. "You understand that we are serious." Rickstall descended from the podium, his 12 feet of height and forearms making him an imposing figure. His talons clicked against the floor as he approached the human. "Your species has existed in our space for barely 200 years. You have 17 colonies, 63 stations, and a combined fleet of perhaps 300 vessels. You are insignificant. You are outmatched. You are, and I say this with all due respect to the cosmic order, absolutely doomed." Marcus nodded slowly. "Okay, couple of questions." "There is no time for questions." "First question, how long have you guys been planning this?" Fertel's mandibles clicked in confusion. "Why? The war declaration? The whole production? How long did it take to set up? Genuine curiosity here." The Chancellor looked at his aide, a smaller Cortex named Pilgrim, who shuffled nervously. 3 months of strategic planning, 2 months of fleet mobilization, 6 weeks of intelligence gathering, and 4 days of rehearsals for the ceremony. 4 days of rehearsals? Marcus looked impressed. For a declaration of war, that's commitment, respect. "You are mocking us." "Little bit, yeah." Marcus found an ashtray on a nearby diplomatic table and stubbed out his cigarette. Then he pulled out the chair and sat down, completely ignoring every protocol about standing in the presence of the Chancellor. "But here's my second question, and this one's important. Did any of your 3 months of strategic planning actually researching humans, like beyond the basic census data?" Fertel's aide stepped forward.
Of course we did research. We know your military capabilities, your resource production, your population distribution. We know you have primitive kinetic weapons, basic energy shields, and slower-than-light communication systems. We know you're a young species that stumbled into space travel through luck rather than proper evolutionary development.
Right. But did you read any of our history? The two cortex exchanged glances. The aide cleared his throat, which sounded like grinding glass. We reviewed your species classification documents. Carbon-based, bilateral symmetry, omnivorous, average lifespan of 85 standard years, homeworld in the Orion Spur. Marcus pinched the bridge of his nose. Oh boy. Okay, so that's a no. Your history is irrelevant to military calculations. Is it, though? Marcus stood up, stretching. His spine popped audibly. Several alien observers flinched at the sound. Because here's the thing about humans, Chancellor. We're really good at war. Like, disturbingly good. It's kind of our whole deal. Your fleet is outnumbered 13-1. Yeah, that's about average odds for us, historically speaking. Marcus started pacing, hands in his pockets. See, on our planet Earth, we had this period called recorded history, about 10,000 years of it, and you know what we did for most of those 10,000 years? Riksdal said nothing. We fought each other, constantly, over everything. Land, resources, ideology, religion, who had the better economic system, who wore the wrong hat. We'd got really creative about it, too. We invented thousands of ways to kill each other. Swords, spears, arrows, guns, bombs, missiles, chemical weapons, biological weapons, nuclear weapons. We burned entire cities. We sank whole fleets. We fought in deserts, jungles, mountains, oceans, and frozen wastelands. This is supposed to frighten us? Oh, it gets better. Marcus grinned. It was not a nice grin. We got so good at killing each other that we had to invent rules about how to do it properly. Laws of war, Geneva Conventions, treaties about which weapons were too horrible to use. And you know what happened when someone broke those rules? The aide whispered something to Vestal. The Chancellor's posture shifted, slightly uncertain. We got even more creative. Marcus continued. One of our countries during what we called World War II was getting bombed every night by enemy aircraft, so they convinced their entire population that eating carrots would give them better night vision. That wasn't even the weird part. The weird part was that it was actually a cover story for secret radar technology. But the carrot thing stuck. We propagandized vegetables for military purposes. This is absurd. Another country developed a bomb that could level entire cities, used it twice. Then several other countries developed the same bombs. Then we all pointed these bombs at each other for 40 years in what we called the Cold War, which wasn't actually cold, but also wasn't actually hot. And somehow we didn't blow ourselves up through sheer luck and the fact that a few people refused to push the button when their systems told them to. Marcus pulled out another cigarette, but didn't light it, just rolled it between his fingers. We fought wars in the mud, where millions died for a few miles of ground. We fought wars in jungles, where you couldn't see your enemy until they were already shooting at you. We fought wars in cities, house by house, room by room. We fought wars where 8-year-old kids were strapping explosives to themselves. We fought wars that lasted 100 years. We fought wars that lasted 6 days. We fought wars for good reasons, terrible reasons, and no reasons at all. The assembly hall had gone completely silent. Even the translator implant seemed to need a moment to process. And then Marcus said, his voice dropping, "We went to space. And you know what the first thing we did was? We looked around at all you peaceful, advanced, civilized species who'd never fought each other, who'd devolved past conflict, who thought war was a relic of primitive culture. And we thought, oh, good, we can finally relax." He lit the cigarette. "But you guys had to go and threaten us."
Brickstall's confidence had visibly eroded. You are bluffing. Your species may have a violent past, but you lack the numbers, the technology, the strategic position to resist the collective. This is mathematical certainty. Here's another fun fact about humans, Marcus said. We're really good at math, too, especially when it comes to figuring out how to win fights we shouldn't. You mentioned your 3 fleet groups, the 5th, 7th, and 9th. That's what, roughly 4,000 ships, like you said? 4,173 to be precise. Great, love precision. Now, those fleets are currently positioned at rally point Gamma 7, Epsilon 3, and Delta 9, right? Spreading out to cover more territory, classic doctrine. Problem is, those positions mean your supply lines are stretched across 7 systems, and your communication relay stations are all bunched up around the